Hey everybody, I just wanted to put out a quick video. I graded the profile essays today. This is Sunday, by the way, the 14th. And I thought instead of sending you some long email or long series of messages on Remind, just throw a video to hit some of the key issues that we had in the essay. First off, let's talk about some of the big picture issues that we had. First, I've said on more than one occasion that the biggest thing I look for when I grade papers is the argument. So that's going to be a large determiner, if not the primary determiner, of your grade in these papers. There were some issues with the arguments, and here is the first one. Thesis statement. There were a few papers that didn't really have a clear thesis statement, or they had a thesis statement that was more personal opinion than anything else. A successful thesis statement provides readers with a main claim of your paper. It tells the readers about what your paper will be. It has to be an arguable claim. It's a statement rather than a question. So if you wrote a question, I need that reworded into a statement. And it needs to be an arguable position. Your own personal opinion cannot really be an arguable position. I can't really argue you don't think this way or don't feel this way. It has to be something with which others can agree or disagree. A lot of other ones were very big, very vague, very large scale. It's only a 3-page paper, and if you try to write an encyclopedia article about it because you have such a huge topic, you're not going to be able to get into proving your argument in any level of detail. Specific is always better. Not only is it easier to write, I swear it's easier to write, because you can get into specific examples instead of having to do vast generalizations. It makes an easier paper because it provides you a narrower burden of proof. Your arguments always establish the burden of proof. If I want to see what you did and see if your essay is successful, basically I look to see, did you support the claims you made? If you make broad claims, you're going to have a broad burden of proof. If you compare this McDonald's to every other restaurant in the country, that's a pretty tremendous burden of proof. So making a claim that you can successfully defend in the course of a paper is largely going to be about making it specific enough to where there's a fulfillable burden of proof. Now, I could go over this in more detail, but I've already gone over it a few times. So if this was an issue for you, you might want to look at the video in the 120 folder, What Makes a Good Essay. If you needed more specificity on your thesis statements, you might want to look into types of arguments, which was in the 210 folder that we went over the other day. And if you had problems with a large burden of proof for introduction, you might want to look in the 120 folder for introductions and purpose. I went over all of the stuff in these videos. If you have questions or don't understand why I gave you comments about your overall argument, your first duty should probably be to go back and look at these videos so you can get back in the mindset that we need to be. There were also some small scale issues. Get it? Small scale issues? Ha ha ha. And I don't want to get into a long nitpicky situation here, but there's a few things I think I need to point out. First off, if you turned in a paper that was short, that's an immediate 10% or so off of the paper. So if you got something that would normally be a B- and it was short, then it's going to be a C-. There's that penalty in there. I have to have stuff in the proper length. I think I mentioned in What Makes a Good Essay video that page length is a marker of the level of depth you need to go into your subject. If you don't do enough depth into your subject and you give me a short paper, there's got to be a penalty. It's just a matter of how it goes. Lots of people had papers that weren't set up properly. And I can post the specific image to our next folder in Blackboard, but MLA paper setup, there's a link in links that goes over this, but you need 1-inch margins all around, no extra spaces between the paragraphs all around, 12-inch Times New Roman font all around. Any word processor will do this stuff very, very easily. And as I said, I'm going to post this image so everybody can see exactly how to do it in Word. There are some other small issue things I wanted to talk about, and I cover a lot of these in the proofreading video. It's available in the 412 folder, but if you had issues, you might want to jump ahead and give it a view, because I go over not only the most common rules, I go over some hints on how to fix things. There were comma issues an awful lot. Commas are important. Not because I'm a nitpicky person. I'm a writing teacher. I am a nitpicky person, but because commas are markers of meaning. They help situate out meaning. They help you arrange sentences to where meaning is clear. Watch that proofreading video if you want a review of the comma rules. Narrative voice. You should be in third-person narration unless there's a good reason to do otherwise. The problem in going I, me, or something like that is you're writing about your personal experiences. Are your personal experiences really something that other people can share and have an opinion on? It's questionable. Third person is the default academic point of view, narrative voice. Active verbs. This is one I see a lot of. I mean, look at the right-hand side of the screen. The car was driven off the road by Sally. Why is the subject all the way down at the end? This sentence construction obviously wanted to put a certain amount of focus on the object and action without really stressing and even hiding the subject. That's not what we need in our arguments. You want to have the subjectivity clear because the subject is almost always going to be fairly important. So, last thing I wanted to remind you of, these are just some of the major recurring issues. If you had problems with any of these, what you need to do is look at the videos, figure out how to fix stuff, and we have a revision plan in this class. It's in the major assignment sheet. Follow that revision plan, and I will more than happily talk to you about your paper, and I'm more than happily help you fix it. Thank you.